So I want to start off with this. In the last 40 years, only 3 teams have made a mid-season coaching change and have made it to their conference finals. All 3 teams went on to win the NBA title. Just saying. The Hawks defeat the Philadelphia 76ers 103-96. Let's get into it. What's going on, Atlanta? My name is Jeff Rawlins, and this is Atlanta Sports Raw, your one-stop shop for everything Atlanta sports. We talk Hawks, we talk Braves, we talk Falcons, and we talk Atlanta United. Today we're going to be breaking down and recapping the 103-96 victory, the Hawks over the Philadelphia 76ers, to take them to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a game that was hard fought, back and forth, and the Hawks pulled out a victory, made a few more plays than the 76ers did down the stretch, and it won them the game. We're going to break it down quarter by quarter, but first, I got to get something off my chest. So, I'm not really talking to Hawks fans right now. You know how good this team is. You've watched them all year. You know we've been overlooked. We've been disrespected. As far as the national media goes, I'm talking to, Stephen A., Skip Bayless, Charles Barkley, all the guys that kept saying in the first series, it's going to be Knicks in 5, and then we win in 5 games. And then they came up, it's good that the Hawks have made it this far. Philly, who are they going to play next? It's Philly in 4. They're going to sweep them. It's Philly in 6 after we win, 2 of the first 4. And then it's, don't worry, Philly's going to come home. And, how do they match up with the Bucks? I was already hearing that before the Hawks even won the game last night. It's just crazy. Already on the radio today, I heard them talk about which team from the West the Bucks match up against better. I mean, it's just ridiculous. We haven't even played a single game in a 7-game series, and they're already counting us out. But I guess they've done that all year. When they said Philly should have won the series, well, if they should have won it, why didn't they win it? I mean, the Hawks are without their best defender. Hunter didn't play a single game. No one has said anything about that. It's all been about how bad Simmons was, and they're missing Danny Green. Yeah, I get it. Simmons is trash. He's a first overall pick. He's the story going into the offseason. He's probably going to be on the trade docket. He's going to go somewhere else probably. But we're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and besides telling us to score, no one in the national media is even mentioning us. No one mentioned that we fought and clawed our way out of 2 big comebacks that wouldn't have been possible if the Hawks weren't able to make plays. It's not just like Philly handed us points. It wouldn't have been possible if Kevin Huerter didn't put up big boy plays and 27 points when our star point guard only makes 5 from 27 from the field and can't shoot at all. This team is so deep and has so many different weapons that, I said it in the last video, all 5 starters had points super early on in Game 6. They just throw the ball around, they distribute, and they have ways of beating you that are beyond one superstar taking a game over. We saw it with the Suns. Everyone was freaking out because Booker put up that incredible game. When Chris Paul is out, those are the 2 superstars of that team. They win the games. Imagine if Booker was out. What kind of production are you going to get from that team once your one star player is out and one's not playing very well? I mean, that's happening with these Hawks. Every game it's been one person or 2 people that haven't played well, and yet the team has stepped up, made plays, and won games. This isn't a superstar sport It's a team sport. Basketball is 5 guys going out there and making plays, and the team that makes the most plays wins the game. And I'm so sick of not hearing about the Hawks and how great they have played in this postseason. But anyway, if you are a Hawks fan, you know what I'm talking about. Let's move on to the game. We're going to go quarter by quarter. And it was a very, very good game from a neutral perspective. So many ties and lead changes. We did see that Bogey was going to start. He was available for this game. So the starting lineup, of course, was him, Trey, Herter, Collins, and Capella. Herter was so good in this game. I can't talk about him enough. He just went, especially with Trey not shooting, he made plays, he stepped up big, and was just a huge part of this win. Led the team in scoring. And with Bogey, especially only having 21 minutes, he was our go-to wing. He manipulated that Seth Curry matchup all night. He was just, obviously he's like 6 inches taller than the guy, and Philly just kept going back to it, and it didn't turn out good for them. Herter just manhandled him all night and was getting that open look and good shot, and Gallo was really taking advantage of that matchup too against Seth and George Hill. So let's jump into this. So like I said, Herter was good to start. He was 4 of 4. Hawks got onto a fast kind of lead. It was 7-2. Philly was really trying to trap Trey at the point of attack, which Trey was kind of inviting. He was using a lot of kind of double picks, and then would find that pass. Had a few really good assists in the first quarter. Had 11 overall. Just even though Trey didn't shoot well, he had a really good game. Even when he wasn't making shots, you could just feel his presence, drawing defenders, kind of really leading that offense to whatever he wanted to do. And if he's making shots, we blow them out. The Hawks were getting a variety of good scores, lobs. They weren't very good at threes, but they were taking the mid-range stuff. They were getting into the paint when they wanted to. Philly did go on a little run after that quick opening for the Hawks. Korkmaz makes a 3, and it's tied at 11, one of the very many ties that we had in this game. Embiid was really physical, and you could just tell that the pressure was on him. I thought Young was a little too aggressive with his shot making, at least in that moment early in the first, especially when his shots weren't really falling. But that turned out to be kind of a good thing because he was drawing so much attention to himself and getting the ball out and to his teammates. He hadn't scored at that point. And then Gallo comes in off the bench. I thought he was really good in this game. He didn't shoot well to start off. Like I said, exploited a lot of those matchups on the wings and looked for that kind of post-up, step-back kind of matchup over the shorter guys. He came in for Bogey, and obviously that right knee is really affecting his shot. He was not good in this game, only 21 minutes, like I said. It was important to have him out there, though, because he is a big body, at least defensively, and can draw some defenders his way. He did have a few easy shots and a few points, but overall, a pretty bad game for Bogdanovic. Hopefully he's good to go on Wednesday. That extra day off will probably help him a lot. And a lot of people were saying that Tobias Harris wasn't very good in this game. I know he missed some bunny shots, but I thought he was the aggression of that offense. He I think he had 19 points overall in the game, and was just a good, solid offensive performance, in my opinion. I know he, statistically, percentage-wise, he wasn't putting up great numbers, but he did score points. We saw that they were kind of doing quicker bench rotations, and that's obvious for a Game 7. The starters are going to want to play more. Embiid was only off the floor for about 3 minutes. Actually came back in late in the first, which we hadn't really seen that. We had seen him take 3 or 4 minutes in the first quarter, and then come back in with like 8 minutes left in the second. Kind of the same thing for Trey. It was 19-17 at that point. We saw that big lineup with Gallo as the 3, Capella and Collins, and then Young and Williams together. I really like that lineup because it's so versatile. You got the 3 big guys that defend well. Gallo can shoot, Collins can get on the perimeter, and then you've got all that speed up front and shot creation. It just gives you a lot of versatility offensively and defensively. You look at it on paper and it seems like teams could just pick you apart when your backcourt is short and not very physical, but the Hawks make it work. And as long as you can do that and keep teams from scoring, throw that lineup out there as much as you want to. Harris did have a big 3, and Embiid gets fouled. He did miss both. He wasn't very good at the line today. It was 28-25 Philly, and at that point, Young has still not made any field goals. He was 0 of 6, and I really thought the game was not going to go well if Young couldn't score for us. But now to the second quarter, Gallo, like I said, had missed a few shots early on. He was an 0-for at that point, and until he made a nice shot for a 2-pointer off a Okongwu offensive rebound. Okongwu, again, only 1 point, 3 rebounds, but super good in this game. Just a really physical, fast presence in that center spot. He was all over defensively, just really energetic, and just I thought he actually defended Embiid better than Capella had in the last couple games. He was just really good in this quarter, and has been really good the last few games. We did see some sloppy play from Philly, some turnovers. Earlier in that quarter, they had 10 at that point, or they had 10 total in the first half, and I think 18 overall. Embiid had 8 by himself in this game. Just not good ball security, and Atlanta was good, only 10 turnovers as a team for the whole game. So very efficient as far as ball security goes, and that that definitely proved to be the difference in this game. At that point, Simmons had taken 1 shot, and I know you've heard it all day about how bad Simmons was, and he hasn't taken a shot in the fourth quarter in the last 4 games. I'll say this about Simmons. He is one of the most physically gifted players I've seen in a long time. He's 6'10". He can burst to the rim like no one I've ever seen. I mean, I heard someone today compare it to how LeBron just can fly to the rim and score. I don't quite think it's that good, but he has all the potential to be everything a team could want. I think teams are going to shop him. Like I think you can build a team around Simmons. He is just so in his head right now. It's such a confidence thing. And I like what Skip Bayless said about him. Just go take 10,000 free throws this offseason. Like, not even joking. Just go every time you get in the gym, take 100, do your regular workout, do another 100 before you leave. Like, just make yourself a better shooter. I know it sounds easy to just say that, but anyways, back to the game. Young was out for the first part of that first quarter, came back in. And like I said, it was a lot tighter on the bench rotation. Hawks played 9 guys in the first half and 8 in the second half. Solomon Hill didn't play in the second half. Embiid had that big slam dunk, and Simmons was called for a floor foul, but it was after the timeout. And then Trae Young got the technical for arguing about it. Besides Trae getting the technical, what else are you supposed to say? It was the right call. The foul was after the timeout, but some stuff like that should kind of, I don't know, there should be a little fluidity. Like, if you call a timeout and a player pushes another player, like that's a foul. It's a technical foul, but like if you make a foul when the play is technically dead because of a timeout, like that, it shouldn't predetermine that a foul is not a foul. We saw Bogey come up short on another few shots. He just wasn't able to spring up on that leg, and it was showing. Like I said in the last video, you take one part of that shooter's rhythm, the muscle memory that he's done 100,000 times away, it just completely wrecks what they're trying to do. And you could see that. That's why he didn't play very many minutes this game. It did stay back and forth there for a while. Like I said, I think there was 18 ties and like 22 lead changes in this game. When one team would score 3 or 4 in a row, there'd be answers on both sides of the court. We saw a couple threes by Curry, or they were matched by Herter, stuff like that. It just go back and forth, and it was pretty fast paced to end off the half. Okongwu, of course, gets fouled and makes one, and that's his 1 point for the day. But that ended the half, and it was 48-46 Atlanta. In the third quarter, Philly really came out with pace. They actually had a little spark and I think like a 5-point run to take a 3-point lead. Herter does score. He gets that and one, and kind of ends that run. We're still just trading blows back and forth. Each team was scoring. Not like it was shaky defense, because each team was making stops too. It was just kind of neck and neck. At that point, there was no lead in the game that was bigger than 5. I think it was at 5 at one point for Atlanta, and then just 3 for Philly at that point. Embiid does hit a few top of the key threes in this game. One right there, it ties it at 56. At that point, Trey had 7 assists. He was finding Capella with the lob a lot. He had like 2 in a row that were really big. And Capella had that one that was like over a guy, kind of had his arm inside of his wrist, and he still was able to throw it down, which was awesome. Bogey was just 2 of 7 at that point in the game. We didn't see him a lot in the fourth quarter. Said really good play on both sides of the court for both teams, offensively and defensively. It was just a very sound game. Herter, like I said, was still really good. He had 19 points to that point, and we just saw this absolutely beautiful 3 from Curry to kind of match that. Philly was kind of moving the ball around a lot more, trying to find its third and fourth passes, and they kind of moved away from that in the fourth. They were more posting up Embiid, and he was getting not so good looks. And Harris was just doing what he does, being aggressive. He took a lot of shots and didn't make all of them, but he was good. He had 17 points around that time in the third quarter. We saw Howard get that weird kind of flagrant one where he hits Collins. And he makes it. It's 66-65 Hawks at that point. And that's when we really saw that Gallo mismatch, and just made a bunch of big shots in this game. Just was huge. 17 points altogether off the bench. Just a really big spark, and that might be something that we go to a lot in the next series, especially with Giannis on the court. But we'll get to that in our preview video of the Bucks series. At that point, all the Hawks starters were in double-digit scoring, except for Bogdanović, and Gallo made up for that because he was in double digits. They were just spreading the ball around so much, and Trey was so huge in that. Like I said, 11 assists on the night. We saw some very quick points right before the quarter ended. Thibault had a 3, and then Collins and Williams both scored real quick points to kind of give the Hawks a run there. It was 76-69. That was the biggest lead of the night for the Hawks. And then Philly got one more score to end the quarter, 76-71, as we go into the fourth. The fourth, Trey was 2 of 18 entering this quarter. Only made 3 more shots, but was just an absolute firecracker in this quarter. Embiid did have the first 5 points and took or tied it up at 77 or 76, and McMillan had to take a quick timeout, which was good. Philly actually had the lead for a good chunk of this fourth quarter. We saw a stretch of a lot of missed shots for both teams. So there were a couple foul points, and Atlanta started 0 of 7 from the field in the fourth quarter. Collins was absolutely huge in this game, especially defensively. I think he was 13 points, 14 rebounds, but just all over the place defensively. He was super versatile, covering multiple guys, and drew a couple big offensive fouls. To start the fourth quarter, the Sixers were on a 12-1 run until Gallo makes that big 3, and unfortunately, right at the other end, Curry matches it. Seth has just been a dagger to the Hawks this whole series, and he was really good tonight again. Didn't shoot as much as he did in the last game, so obviously that plays into why he didn't score as much. But then Herter ties it with a big shot from the baseline, just a jumper kind of over the corner of the backboard that hit. It would lead the Hawks all game with his 27 points. Trey did make a couple shots in a row. Embiid does tie it back up at 86 with the shot. And then Trae Young hits his patented logo 3, one of his 2 3-pointers for the night. It was 93-89 at that point. Atlanta had to call a timeout, leaving them with 1 on just a weird kind of possession where Trey gets trapped, and he was yelling at Collins for something he didn't do right. Don't know what happened there, but after that timeout, we had a turnover, and we fouled Simmons. He does make 1, so the lead is 3 points at that point with a minute 30 seconds left to go. Harris does hit a 2-point shot and takes the lead down to 1. And then I'd say the second biggest play of the fourth quarter, Thibault fouls Herter on that 3-point shot, and he makes all 3, giving the Hawks a 4-point lead. Both teams had 1 timeout at that point. There was only 54 seconds left on the clock. And then we saw the best play of the fourth quarter, where Gallo just gets a big steal off Embiid. It lands with Collins, and he hits Gallo back on that fast break dunk. He had 17 points and was just a huge play defensively. Just kind of reached around the back end. Most ball handlers when they pivot to their left or spin, they don't feel that hand coming around the back end like that. Just a great play by Gallo. And so the Sixers have to take a timeout again. That was their last one of the night. It was 41 seconds left at that point. And the Sixers had 18 turnovers, like I said, on the night. The Hawks had 15 points off those turnovers. So not great efficiency at capitalizing on those opportunities, but still good to force those turnovers, and take more shots than Philly does. Mostly if you take more shots than your opponent, that's a good starting ground for winning the game. Milton does make that weird play where he starts to shoot and then falls down and shoots it, but obviously we saw his feet were on the ground. They missed that, but that happens. And then they had to foul Trey when we got it in. He makes both, and it is 99-94. The next possession, Embiid misses the 3. I thought that was just a weird shot, kind of a forced 3 that he didn't need to take. I guess it was kind of desperation time there. Gallo is fouled and makes his, and then after Trey is fouled, we get up to our final score of 103-96, and Atlanta takes it. First of all, just a really good game. From a neutral perspective, if I'm a Philly fan, I know I hate it, but Just a great game. All those lead changes, really good basketball on both sides. Just a great, well-coached game all around. And the Hawks earned this win. Let me say that again. The Hawks earned this win. Philly didn't give it to us. The Hawks earned this win. And they earned their place in the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't go into a number one seed's home stadium and not earn the win. No matter how much you're up or how much you're losing by and come back, you earned that win. It's one of the toughest places to play. But since Nate McMillan took over, no team has had a better record than the Sixers and the Hawks. They're neck and neck, and they showed it in this series that it could have been any one series, and the Hawks made more plays than Philly did, and won. The right team won. Like I said earlier, if Philly should have won it, they should have won it. You can't say they should have won it if they didn't win, because you have 7 games. That's 7 games, and they had a home court advantage for them to show us why they should have won it, and they didn't. So I wish people would stop saying that. This was such a great, fun series, especially since the Hawks are advancing. We have at least 4 more games, and we'll start off Wednesday night in Milwaukee. The Bucks they're a tough out, but I don't agree with the people that are already previewing the Bucks and Suns or Clippers. They have a whole 7-game series to play, guys. Let's just slow down a little bit. But anyways, that's it for tonight. I know I ranted a little more than I usually do. I'm pretty analytical on this page and don't get too in my fandom too much. But I appreciate you indulging me in that. And if you like what you saw, subscribe and leave me a thumbs up. But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. We'll see you later, and I appreciate y'all. God bless. See you, ATL.